do. Listen, welcome to episode 11 of Word to Your Mama. It is, let's see, this section right here, this intro section is recorded November 16th. It's a lunes, a Monday, and we have a great episode today. It's a bit of a crossover, a nerd out Word to Your Mama crossover. I have another podcast called The Nerd Out. You may have heard me talk about it here and there. And today, my co-host and very good friend, family member, if you will, Lisa Jenkins is here. And I learned some things. I think we all learned some things. When I learned certain things on this episode, I'm dying. I'm crying. If only you could see the video, it's hilarious. My faces, the shock, the amazement, the gold. I'm just gonna let it fly. Enjoy. Yeah, man. Growth. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
Yeah. You're gonna do it. Like it or not, you're gonna do it. Well, that's not true. Hopefully you're gonna do it.
Hopefully you're gonna do it. It's never too late for the growths.
Uh-huh.
Lisa T.I, totally inappropriate, Jenkins.
Yeah.
That's you.
That's me.
That's you. You are originally from Dago, 619.
Yes.
But what are we talking about though? What I always mess up the nickname for your place. Quaaludia? What? Luquadia?
Well, original from Washington State, rural Washington State.
Sí.
And then moved to North County, San Diego. I was in La Jolla.
La Jolla, aka La Jolla.
Yes, but Bugs Bunny mentioned it in one of the cartoons where he's like, "I should have made a left turn at La Jolla."
I don't remember that.
Yeah, he mentioned he name checked it in a cartoon that was. That and the fact that Dr. Seuss lived there and my childhood friend was his next door neighbor and I met him and his wife when I was a child are the two most remarkable things about La Jolla.
Oh, wow. But at the time when you met Dr. Seuss, did you did you know who he was? Did you make the connection the books and da 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 da?
Oh yeah, I was probably 10.
But did you know, you didn't know at the time, because we didn't know at the time, that he was racist? No.
Oh, no, I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah.
that wasn't quite on my radar. He and his wife were just the nice couple next door who let us use their tennis court and pick lemons from their lemon tree.
Oh, wow. Did they get harassed? Do you remember if they got harassed a lot? Because everybody knew it was Dr. Seuss?
Oh, no, I don't think
people would camp out of his house and stuff like that?
No. I think that, back then in the olden days, I think that there was people had a little bit of sort of respect for celebrity in a way.
Oh, yeah.
And, it's in the hills of La Jolla. It would have been hard to find.
La Jolla.
And another one of my childhood friends lived 3 houses down from the Crocs.
Joan B. Croc.
As in
McDonald's.
Ray and Joan, as in McDonald's, yeah.
Yeah, so because we're in San Diego, right, it's like Joan B. Croc. So when I was I couldn't afford, I got into Long Beach State, but I couldn't afford it, so I had to work and go to community college. So I went to downtown San Diego Community College, and I worked at the private airport. And Joan B. Croc, the Crocs had their own hangar, and I was good friends with their mechanic and their helicopter pilot. And so he would let me go in there, and he would be. And so they had a Learjet, they had a G4, which at the time I think it was G4s, and then maybe G5s had just come out. And then they had a helicopter, and then they had the a fucking decked out tour bus type of situation.
Wow.
Yeah, and so they would let me go in and I would look around and I was like, wow, this is crazy. And just in the bus was like gifts from the Pope, and just like normal fare.
You would not have thought that to see their house.
Oh, really?
I wouldn't go so far as to say their house was modest, but it was like a standard garden variety, like ungated, large. I suppose it was a mansion.
Ungated, no less. That's surprising.
They had like a semicircular drive.
Oh.
It was on like a regular residential street. Like it was not. My friends' parents were doctors. Like they had money, but it wasn't like make it rain kind of like McDonald's.
McDonald's, don't be crocked.
It
the
wasn't
Crocs.
Learjet. It didn't appear to be Learjet money.
Oh, maybe that's what they're like. Let's keep let's invest and let's keep it real, but let's like ball out at the like they had the biggest hangar there, and they were like, oh, get it ready because her granddaughter wants to look at colleges, so they're just gonna fly around.
We should have kissed their ass a little harder as children. Maybe I could have gotten something from that.
And he was the nicest guy, like, and he's like, oh yeah, they're great. They're fine. I was like, oh, that's good to know.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So good to know they were modest as well, just balling over at the
airport.
At the private airport over there on Sassafras. So I wanted to kind of start it off people know this because if you listen to the Nerd Out, we're going to be talking about that shit.
Which you should do.
How we met.
Yes.
What's our origin story, T.I? And T.I stands for totally inappropriate. And this is going to come out in this origin story of how we met, but also when it was that we connected, like right before you boned out, and then when we connected again to Nerd Out.
Yeah. I remember the connected again part like it was yesterday. But when we initially met, we were both at House of Blues.
Concerts? Corporate?
Yes.
Don't get it twisted.
Corporate. We were on different floors.
Yeah.
Because a corporate office encompassed multiple floors. And you did a lot of work with the California group. And so I do remember the first time I went into your office, it was kind of hard. They're like, oh, you go downstairs and then you like have to like knock and get into, you use your passcode, but like for some reason my card didn't work. I needed a different card, and then you get in and you walk here and she's the one who's over here. And I remember the first time I went in there and I was like, hi. And I asked you questions and I thought that the artwork that you had on your walls was really cool.
Oh, you mean in the micro? In the microwave?
Yeah, like the super, super little tiny closet that you were in.
I wasn't in a closet. It was pretty big. It just had a big window and it looked like a microwave. And it had those heating lamp lights. It was pretty plush. I mean, not big, but
it was nice.
It was nice. Yeah.
But yeah, that was the first time that I remember meeting you.
Was I nice?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You weren't like sassy. You weren't sassy or anything.
It wasn't sassy.
Yeah. And sometimes I would go and have to ask people questions, and I would be like, I'm going to get sass. But you did not give me sass.
Oh,
Thank you.
That's good to know. Thanks. All right. Yeah. That's awesome. Because you were garage mates with Mr. D, Uncle Mr. D, which is his birthday today.
Happy birthday, D. Yeah. Have he been on here yet?
No, he hasn't been on here yet. He will be in the future.
Gift to you, Derek, is that I'm your hype man. I'm your warm up. Like what, Mr. D.
Yeah. So you guys were like, it looked like a garage, or did it go up? Yeah.
There was one wall of it. It was separated from a conference room by a garage door, like just like a corrugated metal garage door. And we would eavesdrop on the meetings that happened in there. And lots of times there were a lot of like nerd engineering meetings. We would be like, putting our glasses on, being all like, like taking notes. And then when it wasn't so good, that was the room that they laid people off in when we had all of our layoffs.
Shit.
Yeah, that was rad.
Wow. I was already gone by then.
You were
gone.
You were.
So then it was my going away thing, because I was going to move over to AEG, Golden Voice over there, and it was my going away thing. And for those who didn't know, our office that was on Sunset, just the bottom floor had a dope ass bar called The Well. that we
Yeah,
frequented.
it was pretty great.
It was pretty awesome. They had the Zirkles. It was awesome. And so we always had shit going on there. So it was my going away. So I was like, everybody and their mother, whoever wants to come, roll through. And then you were there. So like I would go see Mr. D and I'd just kind of like maybe say hi. I don't even remember. Like maybe look at you.
Like,
you'd be working. I'd be like,
what's
hey.
up? Yeah.
But I would be all about Mr. D. And so like we never interacted more than maybe work, right? If that. And then my going away thing, I'm faded as fuck, right? And then I remember I go talk to you and then you tell me like, I don't remember the joke. You tell me some joke or something that was totally inappropriate. And I was like, yes. I was like, how come we never hung out before? Like, how am I just...
I remember you said exactly that.
Right? I was like, well, how come we haven't hung out before? Like, how is it? Like, as I'm leaving, I found out you're pretty awesome. You're rad. So whatever. So that was that. So then what was the next time we met up?
We did meet up. We went to go have coffee at Bricks and Scones on Larchmont.
Bricks and Scones.
We sat outside. And I don't remember why we were meeting up. Something, I don't know. It was one that it was a day of learning. I learned that you always have measuring tape.
Yes, at the time I did. I always had a measuring tape in my bag.
Measuring tape in your bag. I learned that. I learned that you were doing some art for a Star Wars like gallery project. What was it? It
was the Tops. It was the Galaxy 6 Star Wars. And I remember I was like, I don't really have that many friends who would be excited about it. But then I tell you and you're fucking stoked.
Yeah, I was like, oh my God, that is so cool. I had no idea that you were into that. And then we were like, yeah. And then we both realized that we were into like nerdy shit. And we were super excited that we met somebody who was into that same stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then was it that convo that we were like, because I think I had already started Your Heard Show podcast, I think. Your Heard Show was first.
Okay.
Yeah, because it was at the other spot. And you and I didn't start till we moved to that one place that I was in for like a hot second. So and then we were just like, we nerd out and everybody nerds out. And even if you're not a nerd, everyone nerds out about something, blah, blah, blah. And then I don't even know who, was it a group thing? You and I were just like, let's do a podcast? I have no idea.
I have no idea actually how that came to pass. But yeah, we were talking about nerd stuff and like, you know, there's your kind of stereotypical nerd stuff, like, I don't know, calculus and Star Wars. But then like everybody has something that they are super into. Mm-hmm. And it might be baking bread or it might be, I don't know, dirt biking, but like everybody's got something they're super into. And we were like, you know, everybody nerds out about something. We should do a little exploration of that.
Yeah. And then we did. And we got together, came up with the logo, got together. Yeah, because I already had Your Heard Show. And then, so I kind of already knew how to set it up. And in the first episode, if you listen to it, we're a little bit sweaty balls-ish. We're so sweaty balls. It's funny, but we're not that bad though. Like if you listen to it, we're not as bad as I would think we were. And then we was at this one place. I remember on the floor, we had a little bit of wine.
Yep. We were sitting on the floor. It was the computer was on a box.
Yeah. Cause I just moved into this place, a place that I didn't even stay a month. And then we recorded and that was the beginning. And so many things have happened. It's a lot of good times. It was kind of like more like a hobby. Like we did it because we loved doing it, right? And then we had like some amazing guests. We even had the first installment. I think it was the only installment of Zapocalypse. We were like
the only installment
yet. Totally. But we had like Matt Moak on there, and it was like we had official motherfucking zombie people, you know, Zapocalypse people. And all that training and all that research has helped us during the pandemic.
It really has.
It really has. Like, we already knew, like, what machete to get and, like, what, like, survival shit to get, because you never know. Still, we don't fucking know. Today is November 12th. We still don't know because that motherfucker hasn't conceded, and he's trying to fucking do some shit, and everyone can see it, dude. But anyways, the nerd out. So I went through and just kind of scoped out. We've been doing it for a long-ass time, and I wanted to get your reaction to some of the highlights of our some titles, some gold titles. Whether you came up, because you come up with the titles, like
most of the time, you
listen to the episode and you come up with what's appropriate, what was mentioned, what the theme was, blah 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 blah. Yeah. So the Nerd Out, will have links to it, thenerdout.com. We're available everywhere, blah, 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 blah. Let's go back to 2014. And it was episode 50 and this is not it's not the title. I was thinking about this because may or may not have seen her recently, and I don't know what capacity, you can guess. Charlotte Stokely.
Yeah,
I'm a porn star. That was 2014. We had her on as a guest because she's your homegirl.
Yeah. Yeah. And she has won a ton of awards since then.
Of AVN awards. A grip.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh shit. And I saw her and I was like, we had her on. And she was lovely. And it was in person at the time when we could be in person. It was in person. It was at your place. And she totally nerds out over D&D.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. She's a big nerd. I mean, am I allowed to be a little colorful?
T.I. Who are you talking to? Of course. Por favor.
Charlotte, like, if you're a dude, you've rubbed one out to her. If you are a woman, your dude has rubbed one out to her. And
or you've rubbed one out to her. Who's to say?
I was going to say, and if you are a lesbian, you've probably rubbed one out to her. And if you're a gay man, it wouldn't surprise me either.
Yeah, she's hot.
It really wouldn't. She's hot. She's lovely.
She's hot, and then you meet her in person, and she's lovely.
Yeah.
She was a joy. So that was just one. I was like, oh, that's one. That's a keeper. That's a keeper. So we go to 2016, episode 76. It's called Pimp Cup for My Puss Puss.
I remember that. That was about the Diva Cup.
The Diva Cup. It's in the air today, folks. It's in the air. We won't mention why, but it's in the air. So yeah.
And you know what? Like, there have been half a dozen times that we have died laughing because we couldn't believe that the Apple Podcasts approved the title of some of these. And that was up there. That's a top fiver.
That's a top fiver. So that was 2016.
Okay.
And then the next one, I brought this one because this was you were on the verge of maybe me not being your friend when I found this out during the podcast. It was episode 79, 2017. It was T.I, a.k.a. Lisa Jenkins, is a new addition in New Kids on the Block, a New Kids on the Block hater.
Yes, I am.
I couldn't believe it.
Sorry.
Oh, so here we are. And the last but not least, I had to bring it current.
Okay.
It was episode 121. It was this year.
Mm-hmm.
And it's called Lady Jizzed My Pants.
That's also in the top 5. Top 5. They have pretty strict guidelines about stuff you can and can't say.
We jizzing it up. We're pussing it up. We're doing all kinds of shit up in these titles.
I think it's because if there was a Y on the end of puss, I think that we would have had problems.
Yeah. And then jizz is in the past tense?
Yeah, jizzed is the past tense.
Past tense? So. They couldn't catch it.
Yeah.
So, on this podcast, I have different people that are part of my tribe or want to be part of my tribe or they've helped me, blah, blah, blah. But I feel like, T.I, since we've met and we've been doing this for however long, I forget how long, 2009, 2010 or whatever, you are family. You are family and you are part of my tribe. And that's why I wanted to have you on here. but especially because we're homeboy, like I said, homeboy hasn't conceded.
Yeah.
But I was like, who am I going to have on? I didn't have anyone on election week. I wanted to just keep it bare because we're all on edge. And I was like, I can't focus. And then I had this last week, I had a short little bonus with the Supernatural Bear. That was fun. We read reviews. And then I was like, who am I going to have on right after? Like, who can
help make sense of the insanity of this world? Well, it's probably not Lisa, but I'll have her on anyway.
No, and I was like, I wanted to know them well, but also I have you on for many different reasons. But one of them is because if you listen to the episodes leading up to July, the Nerd Out episodes, we're stressing out. We're talking about like what we're doing, what's happening. You see the decline of the world, as you know, all the civil unrest and the uprisings, and so we were thinking of like what to do. And so T.I, you come and you organize us. Shout out to the motherfucking postcard bitches. That's the name of our crew. But it's a crew that T.I put together. You know, all of a sudden we get this email and she's just explaining like, let's postcards, swing states, but my homeboy made this app, blah, 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 blah. And faithfully, since July, you organized us, you know how we all have, especially people like us, we all have different circles of friends, and they rarely intermingle, crossover, unless it's like a wedding or a something special occasion, blah, 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 blah. But you brought all your peeps together. And then the hardcore peeps, we met every Saturday and did postcards. So tell us, what made you do that? And just the impetus of like how that even started.
I had written postcards previously, not that many, but, you know, just in kind of like trying to figure out ways that I could do something positive politically that wasn't picking up the phone and actually talking to somebody on the phone. Because, that's not really my thing. And so I came across postcards and I thought it was cool. I did it for the elections in 2018 a little bit. I did it for some special elections that have happened off and on. And I think probably around, I don't know, June or July, I was feeling like sort of paralyzed and like, I don't know, like shit was just getting real. Like I'm not going to be able to look myself in the eye in the mirror if I don't actually do something and put my money where my mouth is. Apart from like, you know, it's great to give like $20 to a candidate or something where you can afford it. Sure. But I just wanted to do something. So I love nothing more than roping other people into doing things with me. Plus it keeps me accountable. So I did that. And you guys answered the call. We threw up the bat sign. You guys answered the call.
Yeah.
And we did it through Tony the Democrat, who you can follow at Tony the Democrat on Twitter. There's also a website, Postcards to Voters. This is only for you liberal types. I'm sure that if there's anyone who is listening to this who ascribes to a more conservative point of view, there's probably people doing it for that side.
They don't listen to this shit. And I said on the last week, I was like, if you listen, if this bothers you, fuck you.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Fuck off.
So I would actually prefer if you didn't write any postcards.
Exactly.
So just put your head in the ground, keep going. So we put the group together and I started disseminating the information. Some people bit, some people didn't. Some people bit but never joined our calls that we did, our Zoom calls. We basically just like caught up, gossiped, complained, felt sorry for ourselves, cried a couple of times when people died. And, you know, we spent like a couple hours every Saturday morning chit-chatting and scribbling out postcards and comparing notes and like, what are you guys writing? So I have kind of, it's hard for me to say exactly how many postcards we sent out, but I think that a conservative estimate is over 2,000.
Please believe it. Please believe it. And you know, we we were doing all this stuff, but all of us were writing heads down. Like the only person looking up, we would look up occasionally, but the only person like head up is the person who was talking, telling us the latest story or whatever. Yeah. I mean, we're talking about dating during COVID. We're talking about like personal shit and political shit. And, you know, we're all each having our own little freakouts at different times and things like that. Yeah. And it was like a support group / you know, political activism group. And so when this and then it translated over to a text. We have a postcard bitches text, you know, yes, like, and we keep it going and we keep it, you know, it's fantastic. And I was saying to them that, you know, once we can and it's safe, postcard bitches we gotta do a trip.
Getting together.
We're getting together.
That, but I know that everyone in this group in particular, I mean, I certainly have other friends that fit this description, but this particular group, like everybody's super on it. Everybody's super plugged in. Everybody's super social media savvy. Everybody's very political. So like we're sharing news. We're doing that. When I was evacuated, I managed to get a text off before my network froze asking for like, can anybody help see what's happening with the fire near my neighborhood? And like, they're like, all right, we're on it. And so it was like on Twitter, on wherever, trying to figure out like, is my house going to burn down? Because I wasn't able to do it. And yeah, it's been a pretty awesome group of ladies.
Leslie came through. She did some triangulation.
She really did.
She like literally, she was like texting satellite footage and like all this stuff. Like she was on it. I was like, yo, she is on it. So yeah,
she's a journalist. They're handy in those situations.
They're handy. They know what to do. And so, yeah, you put the many calls and we came through and I just wanted to thank you. I wanted to have you on here to thank you. I know all the postcard bitches who listen will listen and they all agree. We love you and we thank you for doing that because when we were stressing out together, when we didn't know the numbers, as they're coming in, we're kind of, you know, getting excited, but not too excited, trying to stay realistic. And then when it happened, I think we felt, for me, as speaking for myself, I felt extra good because not only did I vote, but I did something. I feel like I helped. Like when we looked at Broward County, is that what it's called? Broward County in Florida. That was one of the first places we sent a grip of motherfucking postcards to in Florida.
Yep.
Blue. We're like, we did that shit. Arizona. We did that shit.
Yeah. I mean, at first I started trying to do some like correlation because a lot of the races that we wrote postcards for, they lost. Our candidates lost. But a lot of the places also kind of pulled out a win out of nowhere. Like, I mean, obviously it's not like we're the only people who are doing anything in Arizona.
Yeah, but, a lot of groundwork on the ground shit, but still, we participate.
Sent hundreds of postcards to Arizona, hundreds, maybe even 1,000, between people who were like tangential postcard bitches, like Amy Murray. She sent a whole bunch.
Shout out to Amy. Yep.
Shout out to Amy, Simon and Julia. They sent a bunch. Like I know that like between all of us in this sort of little cabal, we definitely we made a difference.
We made a difference.
But a difference.
But a difference nonetheless. And you know what? We actually did something because my therapist was saying, like, do what you can. Like do what's actionable. Like concentrate on that. Like don't concentrate like, oh, there's not like none of this is, you know, it's the worst thing ever and da-da-da-da. It's like, what can you do? You can donate, you can do phone calls, you can text. But I feel like you gave us the numbers or something like that where research said postcards had a bigger return or were more effective than texts and phone calls. Because I don't give a fuck about a text. I ain't answering any phone calls too. Please believe it. You know what I'm saying? Like, so a postcard that's handwritten with smiley faces and like, I mean, we wrote a lot. We wrote a lot like that you take the time. Maybe someone just looks at it and tosses it, doesn't even look at it, whatever. But some of them had their names, some of them didn't. But it was a thoughtful thing. A lot of people don't get that type of situation in the mail, you know, the snail mail situation. So. Staying competitive in these dynamic times means having the right technology at work for your small or medium-sized business. Whether your goal is to grow, downsize, or modernize, Panoply BPO provides the right combination of tools, support, and affordability necessary to make it a reality. Visit panoplybpo.com. That's PANOPLYBPO.com to schedule your no-obligation consultation today. Mention WTYM and get your 13th month of service for free. PanoplyBPO.com. There is a better way.
Yeah. Yeah. And, I think too, like you and I talked a little bit about, and it was your therapist who had that advice, but like feeling powerless, feeling like there were a lot of things going on in the country that were out of control, feeling like, I could read about how to be an ally. I could read about, how to be less of a racist person. I can read about, all of these ways to kind of help support my brothers and sisters who are people of color and like the people around me and things like that. And that's really great. And I feel like everybody needs to do that. Like that's the work you have to put in. But at some point it's like, I got to do more.
Yeah.
And postcards, they help.
And we're getting ready. We're just waiting for the info. It could be any day now, right? We're getting ready.
Yeah. The new bat sign.
Yeah. She put, Stacey Abrams put it up, and postcard bitches are ready. I ordered some Everyone's ordering postcards, stamps, pens. Like we're ready for this runoff and anything else that comes our way from now until forever, probably, because there's a lot of fucking work to do. So we're here, we're ready. But one thing I also, if you don't know Lisa Jenkins, don't let the name fool you. She's not black, kids. She's talking about allyship because she's white. And I'm talking about white as fuck. Like ginger, white. Okay? So you know how there's like, especially during this time, it's like there's like these white people and then there's people that like, I forget who says it, that happen to be white. T.I. happens to be white. And she cares, and she's a real ally. And it's like the election night, it was like you feel the pain, and you're just like, I know my pain is only like point blah 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 of what fear than what people of color, BIPOC people are feeling, disabled, the LGBTQ plus whatever. That's what I'm talking about, kids. This is quality. Even though she has a black name, this is a quality white person here. And that's what we're talking about. You know what I'm saying?
I have had multiple black people laugh when they meet me, especially when I was in the South. I had two people, when I lived in New Orleans, I had two people tell me I was the whitest Jenkins they'd ever met. Shay and I went to Vegas. And when I checked in, there was a black woman who was checking me in. She was like, Lisa Jenkins. And she was like, didn't break a smile. She was like, I know a lot of Jenkins. And I was like, let me guess, I'm the whitest Jenkins among them. And she started laughing. And then I said something to Shay. And she was like, your name's Shay?
And she's super white too.
Yeah, she's like, you ladies.
Shay Le Fun. Do they ever assume that you're married and that's why you have the last name?
I don't know.
That's probably what they're thinking. Probably, she gotta be married. She's married to a black dude.
Yeah.
Or a black woman. She's married to someone black, and that's why she has the last name Jenkins.
Maybe that's it. Yeah, it's funny.
That's like, I will have him on here too. Hyperactive Monkey, Jerome.
Yeah.
He's Chinese, but his name is Jerome.
Well, you know what else is funny? Actually, now that you mention it, my husband's name is Jerome.
What? Wait, you never told me that Ranger Ted's name is Jerome? I thought his name was Ted.
That's his middle name. He doesn't go by Jerome.
Wait till I tell. Wait till I tell Miocito. Whoa, wait till I tell him. Shut the fuck up. If you guys were to see these people, these lovely people, they're the whitest. Ranger Ted is whiter than white. Whiter than T.I over here. And his name is Jerome. Oh, that's gold. That is gold there.
He doesn't go by that because it was also his dad's name. His dad went by Jerry. Yeah. And his middle name is Edward. He's that kind of Ted. He's an Edward Ted.
Oh my God, his name is Jerome. Get the fuck out. That's amazing. Lisa Jenkins and Jerome. The whitest couple.
Jerome Benson.
Oh! Oh my God, you cannot make that shit up. You can't make that shit up. Lisa Jenkins and Jerome Benson? The blackest couple in town are the whitest couple in town.
Oh my God.
It's tears. It's tears up in here.
I guess I'd never thought about it, but you're right.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Oh, it's tears up in this bitch. Oh my God. That's the best.
Yeah.
The things we discover here on Word to Your Mama. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Jerome Benson. That sounds like an R&B singer.
It does. It does.
Have you gotten the latest Jerome Benson?
the new Jerome Benson jam.
Oh my God, I'm sweating. Oh my God, I'm sweating. That's amazing, T.I.
My eyes are sweating.
Oh my God. Woo!
Yeah, that's us.
Oh my goodness. Oh, that's amazing. So let's take it back. So
Okay.
I met you at House of Blues corporate, and you were doing what? I still don't even know what you were doing back then. Analytics back then?
Online marketing.
Oh, online marketing.
I oversaw all of the email marketing, the online advertising a little bit, like the websites, the ticketing website that we had, the different web stuff that the local venues were doing, that sort of stuff.
Oh yeah. And then you also during those times, I think that's when it was, but I didn't know about it till later. Maybe that's when you were doing the country music showcases.
Yeah. The first Wednesday of every month, we had a country music club called Sweethearts of the Rodeo that happened at Molly Malone's in Los Angeles. And it was cool country music, not lame country music. It was we had a house band, and then we would have different opening acts or special guest stars. We would, we got people who were local. We had a lot of people who were national artists. Lucinda Williams came a number of times.
Nice.
Miranda Lambert came and performed. Pamela DeBar, Michael DeBar, we had all kinds of interesting people who were there. My favorite one was one of the bouncers came and got me, and they were like, yo, there's somebody at the back door, which was the musician's entrance. And he says that you'll vouch for him. And I was like, okay. So I went back there as a tall guy, kind of lanky, dressed kind of cool, a little flashier Western.
Yeah.
I was like, hey man, what's up? And he's like, oh, hey, I was just in the studio with so-and-so and they told me to look you up. And I was like, okay, didn't know the name. And I was like, oh, cool. So you want to play? He was like, yeah. And I was like, oh, what instrument do you play? And he's like, oh, here. And he lifted up, almost like a briefcase.
Yeah.
And lifted it up. And it was a row of these beautiful shining harmonicas.
Oh my God.
And it felt like in Pulp Fiction at the end when they open up the suitcase.
Light with the big, yeah.
Yeah, that's totally what it felt like. And I was like, sir, you come on in. Let me buy you a drink. He got up and he was some amazing studio harmonica player who happened to be in town from Nashville and got up and played the harmonica. So we always had fun stuff like that going on.
That's awesome. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, because I always talk about hip hop and hip hop and hip hop on here, but a lot of people don't know that I unwillingly grew up on country, but ended up loving it. It's one of the only things that motherfucker contributed to my life, and so I have this thing in my heart always for quality country, not just any country, but quality. It could be of any era, but it has to be quality, and it always draws me in. So I thought that was rad that you had that. We're gonna get into what were called the not so rapid fire questions, and now they're called the not so rapid fire questions, aka the slow as hell questions. Before we get into those,
Okay.
I wanted to also say that we're unfortunately also part of another crew, another group, the Dead Moms
yes.
Club. The Dead Moms
The
Club.
Dead Moms Club. Yep.
Yeah. That unfortunately now during this time and this age bracket, I think we're going to have unfortunately more people join the club. But I feel like you and I connected on the fact that we're in that club, but also the fact that, seeing the deterioration of our mothers, like before our eyes.
Mm-hmm.
That's next level.
Yeah, and I think too the sort of kind of more or less ish only daughter mom super close relationship, that kind of thing. My mother had Alzheimer's and cancer, and it took a really long time to figure out that Alzheimer's was what it was. I could see it, but nobody else could. So I would ask people like, do you think that my mom is acting weird? And they're like, no, she's always weird. And I'm like, huh, okay. And so we were estranged even for probably 6 months because I thought that it was just her being an asshole. And, then figured it out. And, she had probably another 10 years after that she lived for. But it was, it was pretty tough. And I think you're right. Like, this is the age, if your parents have survived and, maybe now they're in their 70s or 80s. Like, this is, I think, generally Alzheimer's starts to manifest by the early 70s. So, hey, if your parents are in their mid 70s and they seem to be pretty sharp, you're probably good.
Yeah. Hopefully.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's that's a pretty tough thing. I keep thinking that, one of these days I'm gonna, with all my spare time, I want to do like a handbook for people that's sort of like, okay, what do I do now? Because I went through that, and most people probably go through that, having no fucking clue. Like, what do you do? How do you get somebody declared incompetent? Like, how do you find out, like, are there cognitive tests? What do you tell the doctor? Like, am I allowed to tell the doctor? What are the HIPAA rules? And like stuff like that. So I keep thinking that, someday I'm going to put together just a short little booklet and just give it away for free on a website, figure out like how much it costs to print it or something. Because I wish that other people I hope that other people wouldn't have to go through what I went through, because it was pretty rough.
Yeah, because not only are you're dealing with your mom's, the deterioration or health and seeing all that, but you're also a caregiver. And I think that's an extra layer that a lot of people, like I had Kohler on, he talked about his dad, but his father lived in another city. So his sister has another story, right? Because she was more of a caregiver's type of situation. You were like the caregiver. So that was like you add 10 more layers to an already fucked up, heartbreaking, draining situation. I mean, like, I was 19, 20, and I was with my mom for maybe a couple of days a week. I don't remember. Like, I left school and that was a lot to process just in a week. Like, and I was that young. You know what I'm saying? Like, changing things, and it's like seeing your parent like a baby. It's like this weird, changing the roles. It's fucked up, and it's a mind fucked. And I think that there's like all these frustrations, and if you also depends, on how your relationship is with that parent, what state it's in before, during that process. And so I think if you get a chance to do that, that would be great. Also, just like what to do for self-care during that time. Like, I remember even looking for shit for you. I was like, she needs support of some sort. And I was like, I can't even find that many places. There was a lot at the time. And now I've been looking recently for something else, for someone else. There's some like more, I think now, of support groups if it's your spouse, because that's like a normal thing, right? Like if you were married for a long ass time and you guys are still married, one's usually taking care of the other, blah, 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 right? So you need support. But what about the kids? That role reversal type shit, and then the shit afterwards when they do pass and all the shit, like you're left with having to deal with all kinds of shit, legal shit, kinds of shit,
banking shit, financial shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, in my case, I basically, my mother couldn't be alone, and we didn't have the money to put her into a home. Because a non-government home, this is when I was looking at it, Lord knows it's probably even more now, is thousands of dollars a month.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't have money for this. So I moved in with her because she could not be alone. And she ended up passing away, I don't know, probably 8 months later. But yeah, I like left everything in LA, including my cat, who my friends went and fed my cat every day. So I have pretty amazing friends.
Yeah.
And I just went up to Washington and I moved in with her, and I was with her, and it was 100% the worst thing I've ever been through in my entire life. And I would not hesitate to do it all over again. It was also the best thing that ever happened to me. It was like so hard, but so beautiful.
Yeah.
And, by the end, she always knew who I was, but she was not very nice. And there was I went through a lot of stuff mentally, whatever, in my life. It was really, really hard. But I also have told people, if you can figure out a way to be with your parent and care for them in the final time of their life, I really do highly recommend it. I think that # no regrets, for sure.
For sure. Like for me, I was there when she took her last breath.
Yeah.
And that's like some fucked up shit, but a gift.
Mm-hmm.
A real gift.
Yeah. Yeah. Being able to support them like that at the very end, the way that they supported you.
Yeah.
It's pretty remarkable.
Yeah. Tears, kids, tears.
Guys. From laughing to crying.
From laugh crying to crying motherfuckers. All right. Let me wipe these tears off. And
okay. I mean, it's incredibly sad. But like I said, it's also the most beautiful thing.
Yeah.
So beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah, you wouldn't give it up. Like you said, you would do it all over again because it's the benefits outweigh all the bullshit and how fucked up it was at the time and stuff like that. Most def. Well, thank you so much for sharing, allowing me to talk about it and sharing as much as you did, because I just feel like it's so important, because like I always say on this podcast, they're either have gone through it, they're going through it, or they're going to, unfortunately. Yeah. And that's one thing, I've had so many years, over 25 years, where I'm just like, I don't want any of my friends to ever have to go through this shit. But unfortunately, it's the way life is, and they have to. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't in many ways, I really don't envy and just kind of dread for my friends, because I know that a lot of them are going to have to go through something like that, and it's so hard.
It's the worst thing. And also me going through it, and then while you're going through it, it doesn't matter if you've gone through it. It's
you go through it again.
you go through it again, but it's like so fucked up that I don't even know how to, because it's such a tragic thing. When someone dies unexpectedly, that's one thing. But when you're seeing them get closer and closer, like it's such a for me, it felt like such a personal thing that like no one else can relate to. And it's like, how can I support a friend who's going through it? Like, I don't know. It's just, usually I'm good with death, but for some reason, I think because I knew that you were in in multiple areas. I don't know. It's just interesting. Like, I don't know. You're just like, how can I be there for your friend? And
yeah. I mean, everyone does their best, and I feel like just trying. Like a friend of mine is going through something similar with her mom, and I just called her up yesterday, and I was like, "Hi, do you want to talk about this at all?" And she was like, "A little bit." And I was like, "All right, like what's going on?" And she was like, and we kind of did it, and I was like, "All right, you want to talk about something else?" She's like, "Yeah." I'm like, all right, let's talk about something else.
Talk about something else.
And at the end of the call, she was like, "It means so much to me that you just picked up the phone and called me."
Yeah.
And that's really, if you don't know what to say, that's okay.
Yeah.
Just pick up the phone.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Okay. Sad times are over. Let's get into these not so rapid fire questions, aka slow as hell questions.
Okay.
To wrap it up. 3 words to describe yourself.
Can I come back to this?
No.
Oh.
They're slow as hell, but not that slow.
3 words to describe me.
You could pass if you want.
No, I'm not going to pass. That's a pimp cup for your puss kind of move. I would say irreverent.
Yes.
Loyal. Mm-hmm. And critical.
Yes. I concur. But I don't know. I've never really felt the critical part of it, but I can see like maybe
it's mostly about myself. But sometimes for judgmental, mostly about myself.
Got it. What's the best piece of advice you've received?
I that's hard to say, but I'm really going to, for right now, stick with something that has proven true throughout my life, and I occasionally need to be reminded of it. And you and your therapist reminded me of it, and that is focus on what you can control.
Yes. Yeah. There's
other stuff that's the only thing that you can have any impact on, and so that's where your energy should be.
Yeah, I think that's how we've survived this 2020, really. I mean, really. That's some good ones, some good advice. What are you doing to dismantle the patriarchy?
Well, I would say leading my life, but I suppose that's true, but that's also pretty boring. What am I doing specifically to dismantle the patriarchy? I guess I'm not having children.
You're doing what you want.
So, yeah, I guess I'm just doing things my way.
Yeah.
And I don't give a fuck about the patriarchy.
Boom. There it is. Next one. What song do you use to get you hyped when you need it?
I have an entire running playlist it's my 5K list. And the playlist, it needs to be about 35 minutes.
Okay.
Yes, that's how long it takes me to run a 5K. GFY. And, the one that I always start up with, because it is upbeat, but the rhythm of it is like when you first start a 5K, at least for me, I haven't run that many of them, maybe like 10. When you first start, there's a lot of adrenaline, and you're like, because for a while I was doing a bunch of running and I sprained my ankle, and I don't know. Anyway, when you first start, there's a lot of adrenaline for me. I was like, oh my God. And I'm like running out of the gate like a crazy, like zombies are chasing me. And so I liked this song because it has it has like the right beat to be like, okay, just remember this beat and you're not going to run too fast.
Okay.
And you're going to have a song for your adrenaline to smooth out, but you're also going to be like, your mind's going to be in the game and you're going to be fucking ready. And that is Start Me Up by the Rolling Stones.
Oh, I see.
Mm-hmm.
Tried and true. Tried and true for the 5Ks.
Mm-hmm.
I did one 5K and I did exactly that. I ran out a little fast.
Yeah.
Where Lisa Gale was like, yo, whoa. And I finished and then I was like, I'm never going to run again. This sucks.
If you start too fast, then right around like minute 10 or 12, you're like, how on earth am I going to do this? And by the way, I said start me up. It started up. You're going to be like, you're going to be like, I can't do this. It's too fast. I started too fast. I blew my load. Like, it's over. But if you can start, and that's got like such a good beat for me, then I'm like, okay. And then like the songs that it goes into, I mean, I could probably pull them up and show and tell you right now. Like, it gets into some really embarrassing shit that I don't mind owning. We got some Work Bitch by Britney Spears. We've got some, it's not even on here. We've got like a bunch of, like shit from the 80s. One that is a particular favorite is, All I Do Is Win.
Yes.
So I got another one, Bites the Dust. That's got another really good beat for running. So, there's like a whole bunch of stuff in there. By the end of it, if you put a sword in my hand, I could probably conquer the world.
So not just one song, but multiple songs, a playlist to get you hyped. You know what's a good song? I don't know if you have it on there. Joe Jackson, Stepping Out. It's a steady beat. It's a running song. That's what I used to train with, that song. Add it there. Listen, give it a listen. Give it a go.
I also really like, although it's not on my list, but kind of in those veins, I'm Still Standing by Elton John.
Yeah, that has a yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Hit that steady beat. Yeah.
Yeah.
Add him on there.
I know.
Last question before we wrap it up is, what will be your legacy, T.I? Lisa Jenkins?
I think about this a lot, and I think that on one hand, it will be that hopefully a lot of people remember good things about me, and that the young people in my life in particular, hopefully like they will have fond memories and good stuff, good stories about me, hopefully not too embarrassing. And, I try to practice my life with as much like love and compassion and, looking out for the little people and the little animals as possible. But honestly, I'm sorry to end on this note, but honestly, I've thought about it a lot, and I'm like, my legacy is that I really won't have one because I have no children. And within 100 years, no one alive will know who will remember me, and that'll be it. And that's okay. That's okay. That's like sooner or later, it's going to happen to everyone except for like 1% of the population.
Yeah. But yeah. I think of legacy, and this is one thing that I said when I did my one talk was like, you don't have to have kids to have a legacy because you're impacting lives, young ones, other people. It doesn't have to be young ones. It's like your friends. You're impacting our lives. And your legacy will be around for however long the people that remember you are around, right? But it could be someone younger. It could be like, different people that hear this. I mean, it's like so many different ways to have a legacy. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like you're right. Your legacy, you're a good you're one of the best people I've ever known. You're very thoughtful. You're caring. You give so much of yourself. You care deeply.
I'll come on. Can I come on the show every week?
I'll give it a boost. Yeah, we love you. Yeah. Like, I know it's not just me. It's the postcard bitches. It's everyone that that we all met you through work that now we're family. Like, we love you.
Thank you. Yeah, and I will say, like, I don't mean that poorly. I never understood, and I still don't understand it completely, except brief flashes and moments. Like when old people say that they're ready to die, I'm like, that's the most depressing thing I've ever heard. But also, like, it's going to happen to all of us sooner or later.
Yeah.
And really, all you can do is just like lead the time that do the most. And that doesn't necessarily mean like, become the CEO of a company or famous or whatever.
Yeah.
Just do the most with what you have at hand.
Yeah.
And like be a good person. And hopefully that like spreads out to other people. And some people remember that after you're no longer here and they pay that forward to other people they know. And that's that. That's not a bad life.
That's not a bad life.
Not a bad life.
Not at all. Just be a good person, dude. Just go out. Like Kevin Smith says, big bucket of win. Just do that. Because, you're a good person. That's all. Because you do give out that. It's all energies, dude. Like, it's all fucking energies and shit. And if you put that energy out and then you're ready to bone out. But that energy stays with those that are still around that remember you and know you, So, yeah, man.
And it does make me think as well this isn't the case for everyone. Lots of people who are child free because they don't want to hang out with kids at all, and that's a choice. That's a choice.
Yeah.
But I also think that we really enjoy kids, and like kids are awesome. And so I think as you get older, being able to spend time with kids is really cool, and that is how that's a way as well that you get to leave behind a legacy.
Yeah, exactly. Because, the supernatural bear loves his Tia T.I. And so you know it for sure.
He's got some good role models over there.
Thanks. Well, thank you so much, Tia T.I.
Yeah, this was so fun. I'm really glad that you asked me to join you, and I'm a couple episodes behind, full confession, but I have really been enjoying these, and I'm so excited for you and so proud of you because this is this is awesome, and you're awesome.
Oh, thank you.
And people can listen to both of us. Less crying, more laughing on the Nerd Out.
Yeah, we nerd out. Some good shit happens over there. Like, so this is like a little preview, but we go over there and then we talk about like shows and movies. And, one thing I have learned from the Nerd Out is that most movies are a little too long for T.I. And she'll say it every time. Yeah.
And Ritzy always finds like really interesting beneath the radar stuff to turn you on to.
It's a good mix, kids. Head on over to thenerdout.com and support both podcasts, kids.
Yes, both podcasts. You have time for both. Come on. It's COVID.
It's a pandemic. Come on.
You're at home. Whatever. Don't give me that.
And in true spirit of the Nerd Out, peace out, nerds.
Hey folks, it's Lisa. But you know that. What you might not know is that Ritzy and I have a podcast together called The Nerd Out. Everyone nerds out about something. Space travel to Star Wars, Buffy to Bram Stoker, Conan the Barbarian to Conan O'Brien. If you nerd out, you're probably our people. Come check us out at The Nerd Out. Rated M for mature.
And now, introducing
the Supernatural Bear Corner. Supernatural Bear. From the creator of the Nerd Out and the You Heard Show comes a Nerd Out and Word to Your Mama crossover. These two ladies over the years have become family. The closest of the close. And every day, well, not every day, but a few times a month, a new episode of the Nerd Out comes out. But for a little bit during this time, the Nerd Out has been absent. Fans have been begging and begging and begging for a new episode, but one just won't come out. Now we bring you a You Heard Show, Nerd Out, and Word to Your Mama crossover in this episode. Okay, I'm just kidding. Hey guys, SMB here, and that was just a little prank that I want to pull on you guys. This episode, short corner of the SMB corner, is really about how much I love my Tia T.I, or why she was called that name. Because, for some reason, a long time ago, she did something totally inappropriate. And I'm surprised to know that her fiancé, Uncle Ranger Ted, his name is actually
Jerome Benson.
Jerome Benson, boy! I was surprised to hear that, but T.I, I love you, and Uncle Ranger Ted, great job, keep it up. Yeah, bye guys, peace.
There it is. Lisa Tia Jenkins. And now we know it is Jerome motherfucking Benson. Woo! Like I said in the beginning, tears upon tears upon tears. We got the happy tears, we got the sad tears, and yeah, just everything. Love me some T.I. She's good people. She's family. She's become family, and she's one of the best people that I know. Really super happy to have her in the fam, part of the tribe. So, yes, thank you for listening. Remember, if you use WTYM at checkout on wordtoyourmama.com, at the store, you get 10% off. You know, holidays around the corners. You know, shop small. You know, we're going to have some tea towels back in stock. Went to storage, and it took a lot of work, but we found the screens, kids. We found the screens. So tea towels will be back in stock soon. I'll keep you guys posted on that. And, yeah, be good. We reap. Word to Your Mama is owned and produced by Ritz Peep. The intro song is produced by Nico Beats. And as always, Word to Your Mama is brought to you by RitzyPerryWinkle.com, DoyinSharp.com, and PanoplyBPO.com.